You know you bought too many books when you can't even hold them all up at the same time. Hey guys, what's up? My name is Karen and I am super excited for this video today. Today's video is actually going to be my February and March book haul. So these are all the books that I have picked up throughout the month of February and the beginning of March. I am saying this is what I have for March now because I cannot afford to buy any more this month. And just before we get into the haul, I just wanted to mention that I am now a Book Depository affiliate. So if you are looking for a website where you can purchase books for great discount prices that ships worldwide for free, then I highly suggest checking them out. I will leave my affiliate link down in the description below. I have so many books here, so I'm just going to go right ahead and get started so that we don't waste any more time. The first book in this haul is one that I actually mentioned in my Goodreads tag, and that is The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. This is a story about a boy named Ponyboy and his friends and brothers who all form kind of a big group of friends. Their group has a bit of a rivalry with this other group called the Socias. I believe that's how it was pronounced. And their life basically revolves around the two groups feuding until one night things are taking a bit too far and someone is actually murdered. So if you have actually seen my Goodreads tag, I did mention that I have read this before when I was in 8th grade, so 13 years old, and I don't think I approached it with as much maturity as I probably should have at the time. Even though I remember loving this book so much, I wanted to read this book again with a more mature mind and really take in what the message of this book is supposed to be. Because I feel like most people, when they read it for the first time as a teenager, all they take out of it is "Stay gold, Ponyboy," but don't really process anything else. So I just wanted to approach it with adult mind and really enjoy the book for what it is meant to be. Now the next book I purchased is Nostalgia by M.G. Vasanji, which I'm really hoping that I'm pronouncing right. So the plot line around this book is actually a little bit confusing, so I'm going to try to explain to it to the best of my ability. So it takes place in this kind of dystopian society, I'd say, where a lot of people are having their memories erased in order to kind of rejuvenate themselves. And there is a doctor named Frank who actually specializes in memory. One day, a man wanders into his office appearing to suffer from nostalgia, which is the term they use for when someone suddenly remembers memories from their past. Frank lives a pretty perfect life, but once he meets this man, he starts to realize that there's kind of things wrong with his own life, and he can't help but find himself drawn to this new person that has suddenly wandered in asking for his help. The whole idea behind this book just really interested me, so that is why I ended up picking it up. Anything to do with memory loss and recovering memories always really intrigues me, so I'm looking forward to reading this book. The next book I picked up has created some controversy lately in the BookTube community, and that is Carve by Veronica Roth. So I'm a little bit confused about the plot with this one, but I feel like I understand enough to find this very interesting. So it's about two different people from two very different worlds, and I think one even belongs to a tribe. And she possesses this ability that gives her a lot of power over people, while the other boy is very desperate to save his brother after he was kidnapped. So it's basically about the two characters coming together and trying to show the worlds that these two different worlds can in fact unite. I've never actually read any of Veronica Roth's books. The Divergent series never actually interested me that much, but once I was hearing about a lot of the things that were coming out about this book, both how good people were finding it and how upset it was making other people, I decided I had to read it for myself and see what was going on. So that is why I've decided to give this book a chance. Alright, the next book that I picked up is This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. So the book is about a divided city that is actually full of both people and monsters. There's a girl named Kate who wants to come back home and prove to people that she can be just like her father was, and a boy named August who wants to prove that he is more than just the monster that people see in him. And it's about them coming together to try and show people they can all live in unity. But of course there's a lot of danger that they face along the way. Now Victoria Schwab is another really popular YA author that I haven't read anything else by her, but once I heard other people talk about this book and how music has a heavy part in this book, and how there isn't actually a romance in this book, I was really intrigued by that and interested to see what all happens in this book, so I'm really looking forward to this one as well. And the next book I picked up just in time to see the movie, and it is Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver. This book is about a girl named Samantha who seems to have everything until one night when she dies in a car crash. Only she continues to wake up every day on the same day that she died. She soon learns that the smallest changes she makes during the day can make a big impact. What really drew me to this book was actually that it seems very similar to another book that I have read before called Here Lies Bridget, and I really enjoyed that one, so I figured I'd also read this one and see how the two compare. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the movie because after seeing the trailer, I thought that it looks really good. Next book I picked up is Winter Song by jae-jones. And I am so excited for this one. And I don't think I really have to explain the plot line that much because it is basically Labyrinth, only darker, which I am totally fine with as a huge David Bowie and Labyrinth fan. To me, this is basically the answer of what would have happened if Sarah and David Bowie actually kind of fell in love in Labyrinth. So I am just super excited to see where the plot goes with this book. The next one I have is extremely popular right now, and it is Carve by Stephanie Garber. So Carve is the story about Scarlett and her sister Tella, who get an invitation to Carve, which is a once-a-year performance that you have to be invited to. Upon arriving there, Tella is actually kidnapped and becomes the main focus of Carve for that year. So Scarlett, of course, becomes involved in the game in order to find her sister, and there's a lot of danger along the way. So I haven't seen anything else that's given away too much information, which is good. I'm very intrigued just by what I know, and I'm looking forward to see the direction that this book takes. And I could not resist the next book that I picked up. It is Rose Blood by A.G. Howard. From what I understand, this is actually supposed to be kind of a retelling of Phantom of the Opera, which as a huge Broadway fan, that really excited me. It's about this girl named Rune who has an absolutely amazing singing voice but is often left feeling sick and drained after each performance she does. Her mother ends up shipping her off to a boarding school that apparently has ties to the Phantom of the Opera. And while she's there, she meets this boy named Thorn who is very mysterious and could potentially lead to Rune's demise. The whole thing just sounds super creepy and super interesting, and I'd really love to see how this is tied to the Phantom of the Opera. And since I picked up that book, I figured it only makes sense to pick up this next one. And that is The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. So I'm sure most people know the story of The Phantom of the Opera because it is such an absolute classic, but I've never actually read the book. I've only ever listened to a few of the songs that I had to listen to in elementary school class. And like my teacher was absolutely obsessed with it, so she made sure we knew every single detail of that story. And I have a huge desire to actually watch the film and see it performed one day, so I figured it only made sense that I would actually pick up the book as well. And I'm really looking forward to finally getting the chance to read this. The next book I picked up is Dead Girl Society by Michelle Chris. Really hoping that I'm saying that right. So this book is about a girl named Hope who actually suffers from cystic fibrosis, which I thought was a really cool thing to talk about in a YA book. And she's very sick of feeling babied by her best friend and her entire family. One day she receives an invitation into a group known as the Society, and she feels like this is something that she can finally do for herself. Only once she begins to participate, she realizes that it's not what it seems and that she might have actually gotten herself into a pretty dangerous situation. I think I was just really intrigued by the vibe of this story, and I'm really excited to see what happens in it. I picked up the next book because it also seemed a little similar to the Dead Girl Society, and that is The Merciless by Danielle Vega. But as far as I understand, I believe this book kind of focuses around a group of girls that formed a cult. They have kidnapped and tortured a girl named Brooklyn who is currently sitting in a pool of her own blood. And one of the girls in the group, Sophia, really regrets participating. So I'm not too sure entirely where that's going to go from there, but this book seemed really interesting and I'm looking forward to seeing where that all goes. And the next book I picked up because I never got the chance to finish it, and that is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. It's about a girl named Mary who's actually sent to live with her uncle, and she's pretty much a spoiled brat. While she's there, she happens to meet a boy named Colin, and of course she discovers a secret garden. This book is actually considered a childhood classic. I myself actually began reading it in elementary school, but for some reason, I think it's just because it was the end of the school year, I never actually got to finish it. So even though it is considered more of a children's classic, I still want the chance to read it because I think this is a very important story that everybody should read at least once in their life. And the next book I picked up is super popular right now, and it is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. So it's about a circus that just seems to appear without warning that is absolutely breathtaking if you get the chance to see it. And behind the scenes, there are two magicians, Celia and Marco, who are dueling, but they happen to fall in love in the process. I first heard about this book while I was completing my publishing program, and it was a book that everybody really wanted to read, so I'm excited that I finally picked up a copy of it, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. And with the next book, I might be a little bit late to the party, but I figured now was a better time to get it than ever, and that is The Girls by Emma Cline. It's about a girl named Evie who is led by a girl named Suzanne to this ranch where there's all these other girls participating in this cult, and she becomes entranced by the whole thing. And as she begins to obsess more with Suzanne, she fails to realize that she might have actually gotten herself into a very violent and dangerous situation. And I heard some very mixed views on this. I knew people personally who didn't really enjoy it that much, but there's also been a lot of booktubers who have seemed to have really enjoyed this one, so I wanted to read it for myself and see how I felt. And the next book I am super excited to finally own, and it is History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera. So it's about a boy named Griffin whose ex-boyfriend Theo has recently died. And during his grieving process, he actually begins dating a new boy named Jackson who he completely opens up to. In Griffin's eyes, Theo was his whole future, and he always believed that Theo would come back to him, but now that he's dead, he has no idea where his life is headed, and he begins to basically self-destruct. So it's a story about him trying to find a way to rebuild his life. The story behind this book sounds absolutely amazing, and I've been wanting to read more LGBTQ books, so I'm really excited to add this one to my TBR. And the final book of my book haul is Ever the Hunted by Erin Summerall. So it's about a girl named Britta who actually spends most of her days alongside her bounty hunter father until one day he is murdered. After she's caught poaching by the Royal Guard, she's given the opportunity for her freedom if she finds her father's murderer. The only catch with this is that her father's alleged murderer is suggested to be a boy named Cohen who was her father's apprentice. Britta and Cohen were also very good friends, and Cohen actually broke her heart. So this book is all about the quest she has to go on and just how strong she can truly be. If you watched my 25 bookish facts video, I did mention how I'm trying to be more open-minded to genres that I would have in the past turned away from, and YA fantasy was one of them. When I read the synopsis for this one, I thought it actually sounded very interesting, so I decided I would give this one a chance, and I'm actually looking forward to starting this book. Alright guys, so that is my entire February and March book haul. Thank you so much for watching. All of the links regarding those books, as well as my book depository link and all my social media, will be down in the description below. If you like this video, please feel free to give it a like and a comment, and please subscribe to me if you would love to see more videos from me. Again, thank you for watching. As always, spread love and don't be a troll. Bye!